this morning. I am joined by Central UP Critical Incident Stress Management Coordinators Kristie and Susan. I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning. We're talking about handling the mental health as a first responder. I'm sure that, we know that when people call first responders, we call 911. It's not our best day. It's typically actually our worst. And so our worst day is just part of a first responder's whole day. It's their whole shift. And obviously they're going from call to call to call. Kristie, do they often have time to recover between these calls? And how does that affect their mental health?
Very often they don't. They just don't have time to decompress. And if they don't talk about it with somebody else, it's just something that they push down, and you can only handle so much before that comes out, and sometimes very much in destructive ways. So that's what we're here for.
Right, and so you're helping to prevent that by offering some programs. Susan, I know you wanted to touch on peer support, the importance of going one-on-one with these first responders. Can you break that down a little?
Absolutely. So in 2023, we only did 4 formal debriefings with groups. But we worked with over 50 first responders, peer-to-peer and one-on-one. And we took them from their very worst day to living their best life.
And how does that affect these first responders when they're able to, Kristie, talk to somebody and help kind of vent what they're feeling? Because I'm sure that when they're going through their day-to-day, it's not something they think about once they leave.
Right. Yeah, they're offloading their trauma. And one of our trauma therapists is like, trauma shared is trauma divided, and it just helps to get that out there. It helps to stop that constant replay of it in your head, and it helps people to start to feel better, get better sleep, make better choices, less caffeine, less alcohol. And they've only gotten so much that they can handle. And so sharing that with another peer, it really, really helps. Like Susan said, that peer support is just, it's an integral part of what we do.
Yeah, and obviously it's a very unique experience to be seeing what these first responders are seeing every single day, and you have experience with that yourselves. And I know that, for people that are on the outside, these first responders are in our friends, they're in our families. How can we have a conversation with them to help them out?
Be willing to just listen. And know that they're not going to share, don't ask for your worst call. Ask for your funniest call. But be willing to be there, and be willing to know when they need to reach out and get better, more support, and reach out to us.
Okay, yeah.
And other teams if they're in other areas.
Right, and I know that you served Marquette and Alger counties with support to Luce and Delta County, and we have your website, which we'll put up in a second. But first, there is an event that we can also go to support our first responders. Susan, it's the Donut Dash 5K. Kind of break down what you can expect, because I know it's going to be competitive between agencies.
Actually, Kristie can speak to that a little bit more, because she's one of the organizers for the Donut Dash.
All right, Kristie?
Yes, we have a couple competitions with the agencies. We're going to have the agency that has the most members, and they will get a trophy. And then we have the fastest law enforcement agency.
Oh, boy.
So there is a bit of a competition, and we're creating a fund. And I'm going to let Susan talk about that. That's kind of what this is about.
Sure.
So we have created a mental health fund, so that when first responders do reach out for help, and the co-pays are exorbitant for them, because nobody gets in the business of first responders to make money. But yet they need to get that help. So we've set aside money in this fund, and when people do have those co-pays, we want to help offset those co-pays, and they can get up to $500 cash back if they can provide that they had seen a therapist, and receipts and things like that.
Wow, okay.
And anonymous.
Okay. And can we learn more about this fund through your website?
You will be able to, yes.
Okay, perfect. So we'll keep our eyes out for that, and we do have that centralupcism.org on the screen right now, and we'll put all this information up on our website, uppermichigansource.com, for those that are interested and for those that want to learn more and want to have that conversation with the first responders that are in your life. So Kristie and Susan, I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning to talk with me about this.
Thank you, Mandy.
Anytime.